Okay, we should be live. There we go. Hello, morphemes, phonemes, and graphemes. Welcome back to office hours. Let me just go do some shameless self-promotion. Open. Let's get right into it. So, fourth order of business, little announcement. The Hello Kitten next video is premiering next Sunday. It's up early on Patreon, and that's it. So I don't think. God. I look up Wordle help one time. One fucking time. And it's the top result no matter how many times I look up Wordle instead. God, that shame will live with me forever. So, ooh. Ooh. Is it? Trying to think up of STA. I think it's SDA. Stank? No. Oh, did it cut off? It cut off the beginning. It's morphemes, phonemes, and graphemes. Has it always cut off the beginning? Oh, stare's a good one. Not stare. Stays? No. Stamp. There we go. I'm still proud of when I guessed it first try. I don't remember what word that was, but that was fun. Okay, lingual. Kanawai. Kanawai. Oh, wait. Nope, that. Hawaiian. Yep. Look at me go. Lingual. What? Here, why don't I try... One of my caches all messed up at the moment. No? I guess no lingual today. That's kind of disappointing. Here, let's replace it with global. A good one to start off with is Turkey. Now, do we go more... Not Dutch. Denmark. It's cooler. Kazakh. Yes. I always get those two mixed up. Okay, it's warmer. I wonder why it's down. That's kind of sad. Nope, not Mongolia. Iran is adjacent to the answer. Afghanistan. Afghanistan. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guesses. That's a good record. I like that. I do like that indeed. And now, for a change of pace, I'm gonna do some linguistic stuff, such as prepping my Japanese flashcards for class. Because I have been procrastinating because life has been getting in the way of other things. Why is... Does anyone else see that? Let me just reload that page. Okay, there's that. And then let me pull up that. So now it's just talking time. Which I'll have much more interesting things to talk about next week after my video releases. So what I'm doing right now, though, if anyone is curious, is I'm making flashcards, stroke orders for my flashcards. 9. I've been procrastinating on my field methods. YouTube doesn't have whatever that Unicode character is. I cannot see what that character is, and I cannot highlight your message either. Why? There we go. Why is there a weird delay between Photoshop and my keyboard? Why does that not feel smooth? No, it is not kanji memorization time. It's stroke order time. Rasterize that. Hit that. Just want to make sure that this is... Yeah, stand is the radical. I eventually plan to, because I'm making the stroke orders myself for consistency, releasing all my stroke order diagrams and flashcards and notes, just releasing them on GitHub or something and letting people use them for free. But until then, I'm just using them for myself. Nope, that's not... Wait, what's the... Why can't I remember? I've forgotten the keystroke. Wait. There's this... Okay, so brush. There's a keybind I can press. What's the keybind for making it larger? One sec. Photoshop keybind Why did I completely... Control Option. Okay, there we go. I have no idea. I've been using this program for 3 years to do my flash to make uh kanji stroke order flashcards. There we go. And I don't know how all of a sudden I just completely forget what to do. I feel embarrassed. I feel shamed. Okay, I want to do... Nope. This is the right one. So this stroke first. Followed by this stroke. This stroke. Not gonna lie, every time I hear stroke in the context of Chinese characters, my mind doesn't think about stroke order. That stupid James Bond meme of him having a stroke. Combining schwa. There's a combining schwa? Lowercase Latin pharyngeal fricative and lambda letters. Huh. How hard is it to learn stroke order? You would know that more than me, wouldn't you, Kat? I mean, you learn Taiwanese stroke order, Taiwanese characters, and then also know Japanese. But I suppose it's also just so far. You learned it when you were growing up, so you didn't really think about it. It can be fairly difficult. I think schools, especially my school, teachers overplay how hard stroke order actually is. Because there are, as you know, there are rules and whatnot of general direction and general order that apply to most characters, and it's just the hard ones are when there's no obvious order which to do force first, or if there are if the order is irregular. But I think it's fairly simple. But at the same time, I have been caught off guard by stroke orders that I think are like, oh, this character must follow this stroke order, when in reality it doesn't, which is always annoying. And then there's the whole different countries have different stroke orders, but then they also have different variants of stroke orders used in certain parts of the country that are standard, but should be known if you are learning to read handwritten Chinese or Japanese, because otherwise handwritten characters are a fucking nightmare to read. Okay, there's that. James Nund is having a stroke. Exactly. An obvious? Of course I reduce it to obvious. I also, like so many people I know, reduce the let me type it out. Abor. Reduce that to pronouncing it as Use my use of the R there. Why say many sound when few do trick? Uh, oh, that's why I'm getting messed up on that. I usually have it on this side. There we go. And then documents stroke. I completely forgot to check if I already have this character. I do not. Johnny rifled a knife upon the keeper of the inn. Said, I'll give you 5. I'll count to 5 until then put the money in the bin. Johnny rifled a knife and yet the owner last refused. Said I'd rather die than let a coward tell me. Why am I forgetting the words? Oh, since we're on the topic. Okay, come on. There we go. Why does that feel wrong? Well, the radical for that is oneself. What the fuck? Why did the tolerance... That's a bit too tolerant. Why did the tolerance stop? What the fuck? Okay, then do that. Oh my god, it's because I merged the things instead of rasterizing them. Wait, did I? Yes, I did that one correctly. I feel stupid. There we go. Since we're on the topic of whatever now, when I try to do anything to wa, it just changes to va. Huh. Fascinating. Huh. I mean, both of those make sense. As Fieldling, you are you speak Czech as your native tongue, if I remember correctly. I don't remember what you speak, Kitten. But though, what I find funny is those are two very different sounds in English, but you both have the same exact realization. Even though neither any dialect of Thai or my English accent has any kind of... Oh, who was that to check then? But yeah, that is weird that... I mean... Ah, Thai kind of does have a w sound, though. I mean, obviously not like the English "wa," but that's not what I meant to do. But like one of your digraphs, it's more of a diphthong, but it's still a "wa" like sound. No. Oh, that's copy and pasting. Oh, wait, no, that's meant to go over. There we go. Do 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 do. Ba 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 da da da. Actually, Dr. Kitten, can I complain to you about Thai? Specifically your writing system? Like I'm gonna make a video on this. I might ask you to proof it first, but I'm annoyed at your writing system and the way it does tones and vowels so much. Hello. I'm a one sec. Arabic text is so small. I Why can't I zoom in? There we go. Amar, Amar, Amar. I'm assuming it's just Amar. I'm hoping it's not Omar. God damn it, that's Omar, isn't it? Amar. Okay, so I was right the first time. Why can't I? There we go. God, that is. Why is the Arabic text so small on YouTube? Thank you for the subscription. My native language is English. Which, yeah, it's. How do I describe this? So, my native language is English. I grew up speaking English, but it's technically not my first language. My first language was technically British Sign Language because of various speech impediments that I eventually worked through, and now I speak English. But I basically had to learn my native tongue as a second language. Always such fun. I forgot to check if I already have this character. I also think that I have written entirely some unwanted ambiguity in syllable boundaries. It's not so much syllable boundaries or the ambiguity thereof, it's your dual inherent vowels. Specifically, I knew some BSL. Yeah, Schwarlor drop. I was born with severe dyspraxia, dyslexia, and dysgraphia. Dyspraxia is also known as apraxia, specifically apraxia of the speech. So I couldn't really control my mouth very well for speaking. But did not, I could not learn to speak naturally. As in, I could hear and I could understand, but I could not produce. And so because of that, they taught me signs, simple signs originally in BSL. And so I learned like milk, please, thank you, more, and all that. I couldn't string sentences together, but then again, that is can be pretty tough for a child that young. But over time, my parents were able to work me, specifically my mom was able to work me through to be able to speak more naturally and able to read, which has somehow ended up with me being better at speaking, better at reading, and better than writing than most of my peers, despite having a disability against speaking, a disability against writing, and a disability against reading. Always such fun. I assumed you were a native speaker of a Chinese language, lol. Really? Most people just assume that I have a British accent. I already exported that. Yeah, all my life, despite learning to speak English in the US with US parents, uh, everybody I know has just assumed I had a British accent when they first met me for the longest time. It's gone down in recent years, but usually it was British. I had one person ask if I was Australian, and I had one person ask if I was Japanese, which I don't know how that one came about. Yeah, it's gone down. Yeah, I mean, my British accent just in part because of my speech impediment. I couldn't. Oh, that's. I couldn't pronounce my R's at the end of words, especially after an O. So shirt, as in a shirt you wear, and short, as in the like distance, were homophonous to me. I could hear the distinction. I could not produce it for the longest time. I also could not say R as in the bar. I'd say the bar, the bar. See? Uh, nope. Just New England. I actually don't have any. Fair enough. Yeah, when I was having a haircut somewhere when he was a kid, and they kept asking, "When did you move from Britain? Are you sure you're not British?" Uh, yes, New British then. The actually, funnily enough, when I was learning Arabic for a school project, I my teacher was very confused because uh despite how hard he tried, my accent would be Japanese. I had the strongest Japanese accent apparently when learning Arabic, which I suppose makes sense because I've been learning Japanese since I was um 13, and so I was like 18 or 19 when I did that for my high school project. So I've been studying the pronunciation of Japanese for all that time, not really getting good at the language because of life and nobody to teach me and speech disabilities, but did give me the meanest Japanese accent in Arabic. Which I'm assuming has since been replaced with an American accent. Oh, one sec. I'm gonna read the rest of the comments in a second. I just don't want to lose my. I am in a flow with the keybinds. There we go. What languages have I studied then? I've studied a lot. I never really got good at many of them. I the two languages I'm best with, I'd say, are Japanese and German. I've been learning German since I was 15. I've been learning Japanese on and off again for since I was 13, so 12ish years now. And it's only within like the past 2 years that I've actually sat down and started seriously learning Japanese. I spent a year studying Arabic for a school project, and I want to pick up Arabic again, specifically the Moroccan dialect, Darija. Uh, I've learned, I've studied Chinese for a bit. I've studied Korean for a little bit as well. Not particularly good at any of those though, but I've also grew up around French, so I tried learning French, but that was well before I grew interested in languages, and I just grew an intense hatred for it because French is a stupid language. hmm I say that partly because of my difficulties learning the language. I say that partly because my best friend isn't French speaker. Also, we don't sound dissimilar actually helps, not gonna lie, because I like your voice. I'm struggling liking mine, so it helps to understand that's just in my head. That is refreshing to hear because I hate my voice so much. Part of the problem, I think, well, I don't hate my voice when I'm talking. I think I sound a little high pitched, but I hate recording my voice so much because I just have so much mouth sounds that get picked up by the microphone, and it hits my misophonia. So, oh my god, I messed up. Okay, copy and paste that. I don't want to lose that. Wrong layer. Okay, now it's this layer that I do this on. Someone else who we apparently sound very similar to is Lingo Lizard, or Stealthy, who both of us have been told we sound like the other. And one time when we were streaming together, people could not tell the difference between who was talking between us, which we both found amusing, if a little frustrating, because we think we don't sound anything alike. Also, did you know about the polysemy in Thai? That sounds like an innuendo, an Indo-Aryan language. I really, really want to learn um Urdu. Like, I really want to learn Urdu. Partly because I think the language sounds absolutely gorgeous. Also because I love nostalgia. Well, thank you for the offer. Yeah, my first time learning about Urdu, though, was I had an exchange student. My family had an exchange student who spoke Urdu natively. And this was around the time I was learning Arabic, and I heard that Urdu used the Arabic script, and I was like, can you show me an example of what it looks like? And he wrote it down, and he wrote it in Nastalik. And I was so fascinated at just the way it drips down and just hangs. And it is so gorgeous. I got the stroke order correct. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Actually a native Punjabi speaker, but orders Pakistan. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I've also heard Punjabi. That's a beautiful language as well. Oh god, there was this guy. It was a I think he's oh god, what is it? One sec, let me pull up a link to a YouTube video about I think it was Punjabi he spoke. He was his mother was English, his father was Punjabi. When he was brought and they he grew up speaking Punjabi natively. To languages TED Talk. Here we go. Here's the video. I don't remember if it's Punjabi, but it just reminds me of. It's in the same region of the world. Oh! You might have seen this video. That is true. Learning Sanskrit would be very good for Thai or any other language in the area because of the number of loanwords. It's like learning Latin as an English speaker. Well, Latin and Greek as an English speaker, but you know. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I remembered. Starting to learn to read Nivakle now, actually, after noticing I could sometimes pick up. Huh. That is fascinating. Oh, you left suck at learning languages. I guess I can learn to read it well, but yeah, my main problem with learning languages is the speaking, producing, and audio understanding. Oral communication. Oral and oral? AU. Speaking and hearing. Reading is no problem. Speaking and hearing is. And learning new vocabulary as well. But. Yeah, so a lot of uh, the Southeast Asia has Sanskrit loanwords. I mean, a lot of Asia has Sanskrit loanwords. The word for apple in Chinese comes from Sanskrit, but the how do I? God. So this is an example of my speech disability. I'm blanking on. So the writing came into the region for and early Sanskrit, Brahmi specifically. Oh God, why am I? yeah, so Brahmi was used to write early Sanskrit and probably came from Aramaic. Chance it had influences from the Indus River scripts, but the time gap there is so large that it's unlikely. But Brahmi was used to write Sanskrit, uh, which then became the dominant language of the that area, and also became the dominant religious language of the area that eventually spread down. And as Sanskrit spread, it brought the writing system with it to the various regions throughout southern India, but also southeast India, specifically along with Buddhism. I don't know why I'm explaining to this. You speak Punjabi. You probably know the history of this better than I. But yeah. But all writing systems descended from Brahmi, the original script used to write Sanskrit, are able to be used to write Sanskrit because they keep the characters, if not the pronunciation, which I find fascinating. Oh, well, there's a bit of the history. My main knowledge of the history of the scripts in the area is the spread and the familial relation, not so much the actual history of the scripts themselves, sadly. Which I've been meaning to actually do much more of a deep dive into, but actually, I've started. The reason I started looking into the Thai script is because I want to get into the area, and my sister lived in Thailand for a year. Okay, this is. Ah, shit, I've got to do this part again. Okay, there's that. Uh, if you learn one Brahma script, you can learn the rest. I mean, there are variations between them, especially when you get to Khmer, Thai, and Lao. Especially Thai and Lao. They are quite distinct as Brahmic scripts go. Tibetan as well to an extent, but yeah, because they're all used to write Sanskrit, they all share at least some similarities. It's probably one of the. I will have to disagree with you there, as it is a great script. It is a fairly simple script to learn, very simple premises, but easiest script I think might be a bit of a stretch. Yep, they're Brahmic. Actually, one thing I find fascinating. Oh, I gotta stop doing that. One thing I find fascinating about the Brahmic scripts is that they are the best example of how the material used to write a script can change the shape of the script. Like, let's go look at the Brahmic scripts. They have a giant list of them somewhere around here. Oh, here's the thing showing the connection between Phoenician and Brahmi. There should be an interspace of Aramaic there, but I think that was before Aramaic was fully understood. Nope, that's the early documentation of Brahmi. Oh, here's the it going through various different variations over the years. And here you can see the stage at where Tibetan had loaned the script. Oh, look, Tibetan alphabet. And down here is the modern Devanagari. Where is this? There's a giant. No, this is the Brahmi script. I want Brahmic scripts. What am I thinking? Brahmic scripts. Here we go. Yeah, we can see how. Let me. If you don't want to change the size of this window, I will. Oof, that is wide. Here we go. We can see how the original Brahmi was used mainly for carving into stone. And so it is very angular and not much decoration. But then as you get into more handwriting, you can see the development of more cursive forms. But then when you get down to where they did palm leaf writing, it's like where they carve out the letter on a leaf, fill it with ink, and then wipe away the excess ink, you can see that the lines become much more curvy in order to not damage the leaves they were on. And then you get stuff like Burmese, Myanmese, that is like, oh my god, it is nothing but circles. Oh, and there's Thai. And Lao. Okay. Uh, Speaking of scripts, the Lepcha script is gorgeous, also cool, that encodes syllable codas with diacritics. Lepcha script, Lepcha script, Lepcha script. Ah. Yeah. God, I don't act. I definitely recognize it. I haven't actually looked into the script all that much. I'm gonna save this for later. But that does look very interesting, especially since it says it's descended from the Tibetan script. All of Indian scripts are easily transferable when you get more east with Bangla and Assamese. They tend to look very different. Fair enough. I mean, it's similar to how languages in an area tend to resemble each other, but as you get further and further out, there are more and more differences. Whereas northern scripts are sharper. Hanifi Rohingya. Hanifi Rohingya. That is. God, why am I blanking on this? I'm the script guy. I am the script guy. I know. Oh, I do know that script. That's why it sounded familiar. I do know. I do recognize the script. Rohingya. It is a fascinating script, and it really does remind me of Unko. Yeah, fair enough. If you think that looks interesting, look up Unko. N apostrophe Ko. it's different part of the world, but it's also derived from the Arabic script and looks very similar. Oh right, I was going to go on a rant about the Thai script and what I find something I find annoying about it. Let me finish this character and then I'll go on my little rant about the Thai script. Why I love it so much as well as struggle with it. Uh, yeah, that is. That video does exist, doesn't it? I forgot about that video. Yeah, Africa has just been going wild with the native script creation. Like, it is actually kind of insane. Um, that, wait. I'm trying to remember the order. Yes, those things first. I gotta stop doing that. I think one of the nicest looking scripts is Ethiopian. Ethiopian is great. God, I love Mongolian so much. That is a language that if I ever get the chance to learn, I will drop everything I'm doing to learn. Wait, I need to do the hello, Lavia. Legon. I'll call you Legon. Bye is fun. I mean, Thai has two characters that aren't used anymore but are still on the keyboard. Like full ass consonants. Unless they recently removed them in a recent keyboard update or something. Here we go. There's this construct that basically shows a what if on if Mongolians use an Arabic script. Oh, that's the cloud script, isn't it? The that's on Omniglot. Shar just It's yeah. Yeah, that's I it's it's so fucking gorgeous. I don't know why vertical scripts are just like if a script is vertical, I instantly love it. And I don't know why. But there's just something about the verticality, which is actually hilarious to me because I, in my conlangs and scripts I make, or script adaptations to English, really like efficiency and brevity in writing. But then all of a sudden, vertical script comes along, and I don't give a shit. Because it's vertical script. How is that initiative by Mongolia going, by the way? The one on re-implementing the traditional script, because I saw that they were planning on doing it, but then I haven't seen much since, which I hope it's still ongoing, because Mongolian script is beautiful, and I have a raging hatred for the Cyrillic alphabet. An unwarranted raging hatred for the Cyrillic alphabet, but a hatred all the same. Are do you, guess we're not used to them? Uh, are indeed obsolete, but they're still just hanging around in the backslash key. Yeah, an old generation can't read, but new generation can. That is somewhat amusing, because usually it's the other way around with the older generation knowing the older script. So it's going great script wise. That is great. I do wish, for the love of God, they update their Unicode encoding. Because, God, that is the worst encoding of a language I have ever seen. Is Korean ever written vertically now? Yes and no. So, it is generally only ever written horizontally, except on vertical signs. So, like, from my understanding, it's used on book spines or vertical signs, in which case it's written vertically, similar to Chinese, but otherwise, I think it is completely written horizontally, if I do remember correctly. But that is great, it's going well script wise. Tyrant. Thai script. Let's go with the Omniglot page. So, actually, do I want to do the Omniglot page? No. No, I'll just use the Wikipedia page. So, Thai script. Absolutely that's not Thai script. That's proto Thai script. You mean, yeah, Sukhothai. The first script to use tone markings that we know of that's split into Thai and Lao. Let's see. So, where is it? Here we go. So I understand that in an open syllable, ah is the oh, you be quiet. So I understand that in an open syllable, the vowel is ah, and in a closed syllable, the vowel is o, and that short vowels cannot end syllables. It has the vowels da da da, which is sent from Sanskrit. I mean, all the Brahmic scripts have those vowels. Anyway, so I understand. So like this being tanon, I can't do the tones. I'm sorry. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. uh the this makes sense to me, being chapo. Only having short vowels and a word makes sense to me. What didn't make sense to me was this marker here. This marker was the bane of my existence when trying to understand the Thai script, because it says it's a vowel marker. It gets introduced with the vowels, but it's not. Like the way this mark works, this little sara'a, which is descended from the what's it called? The vis. No, it's the. God, what's the name of that character? Shock. Oh, that just brings me to the Thai script. This. Here we go. Descended from this character, which is a consonant, kind of. But in Lao, it marks the vowel ah to an extent. And in all the resources I've been seeing, it says it represents the vowel ah, but then I'd find it in the middle of words representing ah in the middle of a word. I could not tell why it was there. It's it's a consonant. It's a glottal stop. That's what it is. It marks a glottal stop and changes the tone of the preceding vowel. And I hate it. That one character, this one character tripped me up when trying to understand the Thai script. Yeah, that's my rant about the Thai script. I've been trying to find out if Lao, before the communist regime, had a similar system to Thai, or if it was more similar to, or retained more Khmer elements than Thai. Fusional script moments. This I do find interesting, though. The encompassing a preceding vowel with a encompassing a preceding consonant with an inherent vowel. Because you'd think something like this would be written do I have a, let me pull up a thing to use for typing. Okay. I find it interesting how this is pronounced as that. Let me. What color is that? Do 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 do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nope, that's not. There. Why won't you change color? I know it's not needed, but perfectionism. There's still some stuff like Sana, Sonobad, Sonobadi. I'm not trying to do the tones. Oh, I can highlight. Uh, Stenabodi. Oh, you pronounce that as Sanab. That's amusing. Uh, what was I doing? Oh yeah, this I find interesting because you'd think that the vowels would just be around their respective consonants, but no, because this is an inherent vowel. It's viewed semi like a cluster, and so this is viewed kind of like a cluster, and it's interesting. I think it's what you were referring to with syllable boundaries earlier as well, partly. Oof. I did not get much sleep last night. Okay, I think I'm gonna do one more kanji, and then I can just do them myself later after the stream. They need to be prepped for tomorrow because we're doing a new unit. I'll do one more kanji, and then I think we'll switch over to do something else. Oh shit, I just realized I haven't had music playing. Whatever shall I do? Okay, there we go. Let's do this one. No, this one. Here we go. Red. I was talking mad shit about French earlier, but here I am listening to Stromae. Uh, welcome back, Fieldling. I must course you with the knowledge of Taguo Putonghua. Tai? No! No, is it... Oh, that's painful. It's also painful that it made it an alphabet. Also, why are you using... That's not a tone marker, that's a vowel marker. Why is this... Wait, this is made by an Indonesian guy. Is a way to write using the alphabet derived by Valsen Neolion from India. I mean, to be fair, Cat, I literally made a whole video discussing my adaptation of the Korean alphabet to Japanese, so I can't laugh too hard, even if mine was a partial uh late April Fool's joke. But so glad I returned to learn about that. Are you? You've been cursed. You've been cursed with bad knowledge. Uh, the constant assignment is awful beyond all mannerisms of the Western world. I'm. I never actually looked at the. Uh, I mean, it could be worse. So why did it choose? Why did it? I'm not even gonna. I'm. I'm gonna finish this character, and then we're gonna move on. Shh. I don't know. I don't know. Just ignore it. It can't hurt you if you ignore it. I gotta stop hitting Q. Okay, get that. Actually, since I'm on the topic of Chinese characters, because I'm making the stroke order for flashcards, I am annoyed at Japanese fonts to an extent, which I don't have the same annoyance or grievance with Chinese and traditional and simplified Chinese fonts or Hong Kong Cantonese fonts. But the something I find annoying about Japanese fonts is there are so few. Oh wait, this is not meant to be done yet. Open source Kyokashotai fonts or the script fonts. Uh, was it not a? I thought there was a wiki page for that. Uh, this type of font. It's Kyokusho Tai. For those who don't speak Japanese, they are fonts commonly used in. They're based on the regular script of Chinese, but they're used most commonly in textbooks, especially in learning characters, because they show the stroke order very well. There are very few open source fonts of these. Yeah, textbook font. The there are more open source. Oh, that's not the one. More open source regular script fonts for, say, the for Chinese, but there we go. Why does there we go? Uh, like Mac comes with Yu Kyokusho, which is a fairly good comprehensive font with a lot of characters. But I can't use it when creating stroke orders because it is a licensed font and I don't have the license for it. That might get a bit tricky with, and I might have some leeway with because it's used for education and I'm not making any profit off of it. But when I release some open source, I'd rather not have any legal issues. Uh, but then if you look at traditional Chinese, you have Biao Kai, uh, Kai T, and whatnot, and those are very different fonts. So if I made stroke orders for Japanese, then I want to make stroke orders for Chinese, they're gonna look very different. I can't just reuse my Japanese stroke order stuff, which is annoying. But what's really annoying is that trying to find an open source textbook font for Japanese to use is hell. And the only one I can find is this thing called Klee, which is a free open source font. It is a great font. Problem is, it's not Kyokushotai. It is a how do I describe it? Why don't I just pull up a word? God. Why can't I? I'm going to throw my MacBook out the window. So let's look at Yu Kyokusho. So Yu Kyokusho, this stroke here is one stroke. It goes down and then flicks upwards. In Mincho style, it goes down and then there's a little embellishment here, which is partly meant to represent the little hook there you can somewhat see as you turn the brush, but it's mostly a remnant of wood block printing. And so you can see this style of character in, say, the Kangxi dictionary. So when you're writing, you want it to look more like this, less like this. So what does the free open source handwriting font do? It follows the fucking serif style. Like, why the fuck? Why? Why do you do this to me? So because of that, I have been using Klee alongside some open source stuff from uh, open source derivatives of Klee for Chinese, and have been slowly changing them to match the handwritten form. I don't know why I do this to myself. Klee is the I really think for making CJK font, three languages in one font. Yeah, the problem with making CJK fonts that work across all three groups, Japanese, Korean, and all the Chinese languages, is that each area has its own distinct letter form. So if we go back to fonts, actually, I'm just going to use Pages for this. So let's use the most. Actually, no, there's a better character. There is a better character I can use. This one. So using this character, if we spread it across the different, I think I have Source Han Sans Japanese. I think that's Hong Kong. Korean. Simplified. And that. So part of the problem with making a unified script is that, as we can see here, these are all the same character, but each standard has a different form. And this reflects in the handwriting as well. So like these uh uh one sec. I think they all actually have different stroke orders as well. But yeah, different standards. Han unification has been such a mess. I've actually been threatening for some time to just slowly make a standard for Chinese characters called the international standard. Not as like an actual thing that would exist or that could be used, but just as like a little thing of like, here, it is possible, shut the fuck up. But then that also has to do with politics and history and yada yada yada. But yeah, so this makes it hard to create a singular font to use. What there's also, and this is what annoys me the most, is if we take a character like ga, wo, you'd think, because this is the same form used across all the languages, you'd think you could just use one stroke order thing for it. But no. Cantonese, a Hong Kong Cantonese, Hong Kong standard, and Taiwanese standard have a different stroke order for it. So the standard stroke order is this up here, followed by that, 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 and then this here. In most places, Japan, Korea, mainland China, this downward stroke goes before this dot. But in Taiwan and Hong Kong, this dot goes before this downward stroke. Yeah, in practice, it's not actually that big of a deal because it's just variation. People live with variation, people exist with variation. And if you're just going about your everyday life, you just kind of learn what is what. The reason it annoys me is because as a someone who trying to learn the languages as an outsider, it adds another level of difficulty to learning all of them. It also bugs me because I am such a perfectionist, and they left in so many little details that could have just been ignored or fought over, but because Unicode doesn't have a backbone, we now have the current mess that is Chinese encoding. The main problem is font creation. But yeah. What is this? This is office hours, where I just open a live stream for 2 hours doing random linguistic stuff, giving people the opportunity to just talk, hang, ask linguistic questions, or any questions in general. Sometimes recommend fun linguistic games to do, or just really anything language related. It's just an excuse for me to stream and also actually get some work done. I've also, and I think I've ranted about this with you before, Kat. Ranted about simplification and how shit of a job they did. That'd be fun. Vowel Harmony as, God, I don't remember who made the video. I think it was K. Klein, is somewhat overlooked, especially in what the fuck? Especially in conlanging circles. Not to say that it isn't used. I mean, vowel harmony is extremely popular because it's, oh look, a feature that isn't in English. It's foreign. We must use it. But I feel like people don't fully understand how vowel harmony works and what exactly makes it interesting. Because it's not the fact that all the vowels agree that it makes it interesting. It's when the vowels disagree that makes it interesting. Because you have this rule that you think would be like Gladenstein, but no, it is as flimsy as paper in certain circumstances, and finding out what those circumstances are is fascinating. Yeah. Oh my god. Shinji Tai is the biggest offender. I have an issue with simplified Chinese, but my hatred for Shinji Tai knows no bounds. Okay, I suppose I'll go on one more little rant. I might actually, who knows, maybe this rant will eventually become a video. But, I need to. And I hope people understand that this is 100% my personal opinion. This is very subjective. not shouldn't be taken seriously at all. I don't want to be crucified on this day. How harmony, in my opinion, is a feature becoming speech and applied to all available segments. That does that vowel harmony being super segmental would make sense. I closed pages. I didn't mean to. Actually, no, I don't need pages. So, for those of you who don't know, yeah, yeah, see what I mean? It's a so in Japanese they have a specific rule that the PA stroke will go first before the hung, before that the throw stroke, the downward throw stroke. Uh, it's best exemplified with Migi and Hidari. So for those of you who don't know, the general stroke order in Chinese is that if you see a segment like this, usually it's horizontal first, and then the vertical, especially this vertical downward stroke before the rest. But in Japanese, and only in Japanese, if the third stroke after this sequence would be a downward vertical, then you do this downward stroke first, followed by this horizontal one, and then everything else. I don't know why this is a thing. Because nowhere else in the Chinese sinosphere does this happen. Only in Japanese. The only comfort is that it happens everywhere in Japanese. So if you see this character and it's followed by a downward stroke, this goes before this. The another thing that's interesting about Japanese is the order of the king stroke, where usually in most languages it'd be top first, then middle, then vertical through everything. But in Japanese, the vertical goes first and then everything else. Which doesn't fucking make sense. Because it breaks if there's anything on top of it. The Japanese standard is based on some Japanese calligrapher's handwriting. That would make sense. I mean, isn't that true? For a lot of, like, aren't a lot of Chinese fonts, regular script fonts, based on a calligrapher's handwriting? I had to figure out the domain of vowel harmony in mountain, and it's because the domain of vowel harmony isn't bounded to the world expected. It's bounded to a subset of morpheme. Yeah, that checks out. When I think of vowel harmony, I think of the. Why would you have a three vowel system in vowel harmony? Okay, that would make sense. The stroke order. Anyway, rant about Chinese character simplification. So in the after Japan lost the war, they were planning on slowly phasing out kanji characters and replacing it with hiragana. But they didn't phase them out immediately. They made an intermediary stage called the Toyo kanji list, in which case they simplified a bunch of characters to make them easier to learn. And now I think everyone here knows there's no solution more permanent than a temporary solution. And so Chinese characters stayed around because of nationalism, pride, and whatnot, and Japanese identity. But instead of reverting back to the old character forms, they expanded the list of kanji, retitled it the Joyo kanji, and applied simplification to the characters. However, simplification of characters, we can see some simplifications down here. It's like this whole radical here, this whole component here was simplified to that. The top of this was simplified to that. This whole character was changed to this, so on and so forth. So a bunch of characters were simplified, but only the characters in this Joyo kanji list, those 2,128 Japanese characters that were made official in government documents, only those were simplified. What happened then is that when certain components were when certain characters were simplified, but they weren't in, how do I put this? So yeah, here's an example of it. So these three characters were simplified to these three characters. You can see how this component is in all these, and when it was simplified to this, that simplification was applied to these two characters as well. However, these characters weren't part of the list, so they were left unsimplified, despite the fact that some of these are actually used. Like, these characters are actually used not like in everyday life, but frequently enough that people created artificial simplifications of them for usage in something called the extended Shinji Tai. You can actually see an example of that here. Extended Shinji Tai, where to non-Joyo kanji or non-official kanji, simplification was extended. What makes, which I hate that already because consistency. What I really hate is when certain old characters were adopted into the standard list, but they weren't updated. So let us do, yeah, this one's a good example. So Dragon was simplified to this here, which we can see that it was simplified in Waterfall, but not in Attack and Basket, which Basket is now part of that official kanji list, but it still has the old character for Waterfall. It is... Jingulu has E or A, but if A affixes occurs on a root containing E or U, then A raises to E. Huh. I think it's... I do not know. All I know is that the official stance is that if you must use hyogaiji, or non-official kanji characters, you follow their original stroke order and form. Is like the general rule put when hyogaiji need to be used in official documents. I'm assuming they simplify them in handwriting. I mean, it's the we can see it happening with this. This character has literally been encoded. Is used in practice rather than over the official variant. Yeah. The there's something else I was gonna say. Yeah, it's just that inconsistency is irks me so much. Oh, also this. This is the character to drink On the side, we can see the radical for eat, which was updated to reflect the handwriting variant that was being that was more common at the time. However, many characters didn't update that radical like this, or the word for mochi, which still uses the old radical. I have my issues with simplified Chinese, but Shinji Tai really grinds a lot of my gears. Okay, that is not what I meant to be doing. Uh God, what was I gonna it was the uh yeah, I was gonna change this a bit. Actually, do I need to change this? Uh God, what I was planning on just to for some fun at the end of the stream, adapting a script to English that is not meant for English. And I was thinking of doing Arabic, but then I remembered that I have Arabic here. Um, hmm. Cuneiform. I think that might be a bit overkill to do cuneiform for English. Could make it work, but actually, why don't I? I am not shocked there's not enough vowels. Let's increase the font size so people can see better. But I think I will actually update this. Hi, Kitty. Guys, I need to do a nope, 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 buddy. Come on, stay. I lost the cat. I had a cat. I was going to show a cat. I mean, you can make any writing system work for any language. It's just a matter of how efficient or how usable is it. You are shown. Yes, I was gonna do a face reveal for cat. They'd never see it coming. Okay. This saddens me. That doesn't work. Show keyboard viewer. Uh, So that's the available characters I have. So I was thinking of having it so that the let's give changing some things of this. What? Taipanol? Taipanol? Uh, adapted adaptions of existing scripts. That's Arabic, Armenian, Canadian, Coptic, Cyrillic. God, they really accept anything, don't they? Uh, oh my god. Have they ever stopped to think why? I mean, I can't say I'm doing better. I'm making an Arabic orthography for English. I shouldn't. I can't. Uh, I shouldn't call the pot. I shouldn't be the pot calling the kettle black. Uh, so I was thinking of changing things up ever so slightly, and that's wait. Which one's the again? I'm pretty sure it's the flat one. Vine. Okay, it's this one. So I'm thinking of having the articles attached to the front of things. It's my Japan. That sounds like a lot. So if writing the that is not the right font. The farmer bought the man behind behind. Wait, that is reduced, but in Keble pronunciation, it's behind the yeah. It is reduced. behind. I could also just do. But I hate the look of that. The super mar r. That is a long ass word. That is fascinating. Do you need the indefinite article? Uh. Ooh. I would say yes. I think spelling out the indefinite article. Even with the extra N. I mean, maybe the N isn't needed. But I feel like showcasing that there is a vowel being pronounced there is good. It just feels right to me. It is funny that none of those conscripts were made by a Thai person. I will say the no sec. There is some problem with someone coming along and adapting their own script to another language, as it the creator of the script, or the person who's bringing their own script to another language, will bring not just the script but also their own inconsistencies and practices that may not best reflect the language being spoken. It becomes less of a writing system for the language and more of a romanization or a transcription system for the person who created the system. If that makes sense. I think last time I went on a whole rant about this, but I it's how do I put this? Yeah, I went on a whole rant about this with the Korean alphabet being applied to Cha Cha. But I'm trying to think of a better example using the Latin script. A good example might be the in many languages that adopted writing after the contact with the French and the Spanish, is that early on you can see their application of the distinction between these three characters, because I think everyone here is semi knowledgeable in the Latin script, in that C is used before I, O, and U, while QU is used before I and E to make the K sound. And when a lot of early settlers came over and they started describing the native languages, they would use this spelling system in order to describe a language that this system did not make sense for historically. Because this distinction arose after uh, QU lost the qu sound in the Romance languages. And it was the only environment where k could be followed by e and e. The uh I am blanking on the words. Uh God, I really cannot think. Yes. Yes, exactly. The I think if a writing system is created, or if someone does, if a language does adopt another script, that it should be created from within the community with some outside contact. Actually, I think I'm just going to reiterate what I did with. So in Cha Cha, what the Koreans did when adapting Hangul is they dropped this character and used this character for A. Which, to me, feels a lot like a script adopting this character E, not adopting this character E, completely dropping it, but adopting E with with the accent mark. It's basically doing that. It's not a system for use by the speakers. It's a system for use by outsiders. It is a transcription first and foremost. And then and that's actually something I find interesting about the Vietnamese script, Chu Quoc Nu. I cannot do pronounce it. Is that it started off as just a transcription system. Like, if you look at early examples of the Vietnamese alphabet, you won't find all these fancy accent marks on the vowels to denote different vowels to the same extent. You won't find a crossed D to represent the D sound. You find early examples of it being a transcription system for Portuguese speakers to study the Bible. But then as time goes on, the system spread to French speakers who added their own influence into the script. And eventually, because there are so many different outside transcriptions being used, it eventually narrowed down into an actual transcription of the language that made some sense. It still had influences of the of say Italian and French and Portuguese and whatnot. Not Italian, of Portuguese and French. But over time, it became a better representation of the language because there were so many different people trying to use the same transcription system from different standards. It's it's fascinating. And is it perfect? No. But then again, no script fully is. But I think that's where I'm going to end the stream here for today. Before I sign off, just reminding you all, new video is up a week early on Patreon at the moment. It is kind of silly using qua. Like, there is no actual need to do it. And the consonants are I think, the actual remainder of the transcription system it was based off of. The, but the vowels especially came into their own. Anyway, new videos up on Patreon a week early. Next Sunday, 12 p.m. Before the office hours, the new video will be live, going on a premiere on this channel. But yeah, that's all I wanted to remind you. And until next time, I bid you all adieu.